Welcome to the Aligned Powerhouse, the podcast for executive women who are done leading from burnout and ready to rise from alignment. I'm your host, Dr. Brittany McGeehan, licensed psychologist, high performance and mindset coach, and guide for high achieving women who are ready to lead, live, and love without abandoning themselves. Here, we unpack the nervous system truths, mindset shifts, and emotional patterns that drive your leadership so you can build power from the inside out. Let's get into it. Alrighty, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So today we are talking about the third myth on the 5-part series of the 5 myths that high performing women are still believing. I am so excited to talk to you about this today, guys, because this is one of the biggest misconceptions that I see women walking into my office with every single day. And that is that their energy depletion, their energy or their lack of energy is a to-do list issue. It's a strategy issue, when in reality, it is something a lot deeper. So here's the thing, right? Is that high-performing women do really, really well optimizing their cognitive resources in general. And more specifically, they do really well in optimizing their resources at work. So typically, once they get the steps, they are able to also optimize at home. When they find out what home management is, they hear what that can do. They're always bringing in that support team, but they tend to be very honed in initially on how they can optimize at work. So where are the energy leaks? Who do they need to hire? Where do they need to be having more concrete conversations? Whatever that looks like, right? But they're missing the idea that cognitive resources are finite resources. So I want you to imagine it like a pie, okay? And here, I'm gonna make you a visual, okay? If you were at my webinar, you know my pictures. Pie chart. Here we have all of the different things that women are holding in their minds, okay? Now, Miller's Law says that we hold plus or minus 7 items in our mind at one time. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Well, this says we're going to say 9. So typically our running to-do list in our mind, all of the things, not even just a to-do list, but all of the items that we are aware of, okay, are split into 9 quadrants. So I want you to think, and if you're watching this real time, if you're here with me playing with your coffee in the morning, I want you to go grab a journal real quick. And if you're not, I want you to hit pause and I want you to go grab a journal real quick. I want you to think of all of the things that you're paying attention to at one time. Now, I'm going to do this real time because I want you to get an idea of what this looks like. Okay. So I'm speaking and focusing on women because the research shows that we carry a huge percentage of the mental load. Does not mean it only applies to women, okay? But play with me here. So I can tell you for me, I am thinking about breakfast for the kids, breakfast for me. I am thinking about the way my makeup looks, right? I always look really washed out whenever I'm on screen. So there's a part of my brain that's attending to that fact of like, oh gosh, what do the colors look like, right? There's another part of me that is managing time. There's another part that's holding my to-do list of, okay, after this, I need to go ahead and do this. Then there's another part of my brain that is saying, I know you're looking at the to-do list, but actually you should be more mindful. Okay. There's another part of my brain that's attending to the sensory input that comes from this thinking putty. And the reason I hold this is because my brain is bouncy and I'm a little bit ADHD, right? So there's a part that like is noticing the sensations, is noticing the desire for my brain to think about different ideas, all of this, right? So we have that. Then we have thinking about the things that currently I should quote unquote be doing, right? And then I'm thinking about the way that I'm talking, right? The way that I'm presenting myself. Now, guys, I want you to get a load of this, okay? These are the things that are happening in my current cognitive load. This doesn't include like sensory input. This doesn't include sensory input from my clothes, from the light that's in front of me, It doesn't include the fact that I need to like pick up my desk. There are more things here, okay? And this is while my kids are asleep. This is after, like just after I've had my coffee and while I'm literally just sitting here and talking with y'all about things that I really enjoy. So imagine what this list looks like real time when you are sitting at work, when you're talking with stakeholders, when you're talking with potential clients, when you're managing the team and there's a fire that's going on. Right? Whenever you are sitting and you're brainstorming vision, whatever it is, this is a very tame version of this list. Now, this is a lot of caloric output. This takes energy to hold all of these things in your mind. And high performing women, I would argue, sit closer to like 9 to 10, right? They are holding all of the things in their minds. That's why your mind doesn't slow down whenever you get into bed. Or you get to the point where you like crash in bed, right? But you really don't have this sort of wind down time. It's because you are working, right? All of this takes physical output. Now, here is what I see women doing when they come into my office and we're sort of talking through this energy component, right? Is they focus on one slice of the pie. Okay, I don't know if you can see that or not. They are focusing on this one slice of the pie. What I am teaching clients to do is to focus on all of this. Because if you notice, makeup, that is managing perception. What I should be doing, right? That is the mental load. Breakfast with the kids, not really breakfast for myself, but breakfast for the kiddos, what I should be doing, managing time, be more mindful. I should be doing these things. Even attending to the fact that self-awareness of like my brain is bouncy, I'm a little bit ADHD, how I'm presenting myself, in what way am I speaking, right? All of those components, I need more colors, guys. I need more colors. All of that has to do with code switching. It has to do with the performance drain that comes from a high-performing woman who is used to functioning under pressure. So again, I want to give you a visual of this, okay? I want to show you how much of the pie is being focused on, okay, versus how much is actually being hung up in performance. This piece of the pie right here, everything in orange has to do with code switching, being everything to everyone, right? Being CEO of a business, driving a launch, but then also moving into, I need to go and have breakfast ready for the kiddos. I need to make sure that I'm doing all of the things that I should be. Like all of that is literally just the mental pressure that comes from being mother, woman, wife, and a woman in leadership, right? And again, that is literally just in this moment in a LinkedIn Live. This doesn't include and is not taking into account what this looks like when you are actually at a board meeting, when you are actually driving change or sales or movement forward. That is a huge energetic leak that is happening. But again, we're focusing on that pink slice, the one little pink slice. We're looking to optimize a ninth of what we have access to, okay? The work that I teach clients to do is how to zoom out and figure out why are we attending to these other things, right? And in what ways can we integrate the psyche? So again, this mind-body connection that we've talked about, and if you missed the very first live, you should go back. I'm dropping the links in all of the notes, and there's always the replay because we're learning LinkedIn Lives, okay? But there's a link in the notes. You should go back and watch it. But the more we can integrate the mind-body connection through that nervous system, the electrical wiring in your house, the easier it's going to be to sit and have all of those resources flow towards your goal rather than leaking them out everywhere, because they're all flowing in one direction, right? And what we know about water is that when it flows in one direction, like it's going to go where the most energy is already moving. We want to be able to direct that water where we want it to go rather than having the water dispersed amongst all of these boulders, right? 20% of capacity is being leaked. That is a day per week. Guys, we talk about house management. We talk about getting an OBM, an executive assistant. We talk about pulling in all of these team members and we talk about pulling in like 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day. Guys, what would you do with an entire extra day? And if your answer is to go and get your to-do list done, you're missing the entire point. Although maybe part of that would be done with your to-do list, right? But what I am saying is that, guys, the quicker that you surrender to your story, the quicker that you integrate with these past parts and you master emotional regression, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to get on the wait list for my upcoming webinar. This is exactly what we talk about. The quicker that you can surrender to your story, integrate, and master emotional regression, you become a master of your universe and you can decide what piece of the pie you actually want to attend to, right? You can adjust and say, I want to put more of my resources in this piece of the pie. But more importantly, all of these other slices of the pie become a lot smaller because you have autonomy over them. You're not unconsciously leaking out resources in other places, right? And when this happens, you get to decide where those resources go, right? So I get to decide, actually, I want to put most of my cognitive resources into, for me, getting very quiet and listening to connection with self and the divine and really trusting that I am sharing what my audience needs to hear right now. I am sharing what you need to hear right now because this work, it changes lives, right? There is this idea, this pressure on women to be everything to everyone, and I fiercely reject that. I believe that women have the right, they have the ability to have it all. But when I say that, I want them to have what they want in line with what they are prioritizing. And I want them to have it all in terms of the support systems to have those things, right? I'm not talking about go run yourself into the ground at home, go run yourself into the ground at work. No, I want you to bulk up that support system, create enough resources to where that is possible and accessible. In order to do that, you have to master your cognitive resources. This is how you get from point A to point B a lot faster. If you don't know how to look for those unconscious leaks, you will never get there in a timely manner. And if there's one thing I know about you as a high-performing woman is that if you're not moving quick enough, you're not interested. So truly, guys, I want you to do this exercise. I didn't actually plan on doing this, but this is just how I conceptualize this idea is what piece of your pie is going where, and is that in alignment with where you want those cognitive resources to be flowing. Awareness is always the first key. Awareness is the only step that matters, truly, because as high-performing women, we can course correct in a hot minute. Like, it does not take time. Once we have the data, we know how to pivot. The issue is catching the leak in the first place. So I would love to hear, guys, as y'all were walking through this, if you put your pie together, drop that in the comments, share with us. What did you notice? What surprised you? What stood out to you? Because the other thing I know is that women in community are incredibly powerful, and men, but women in community are so powerful. And so the moment that another woman looks at you and says, hey, me too. Yeah. Yes, this makes sense to me. I've had this experience as well. There's a piece of this performance, right? Pressure, the code switching, maintaining a performance that gets to be set down for just a minute. And again, when that happens, those resources get to be reallocated. Guys, this is part 3 of my series of debunking the 5 myths that high-performing women are still believing. So today we were talking all about reallocating cognitive resources, the reason why your to-do list is not your actual energetic leak. And I will see y'all tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. with your coffee in hand. And we are going to debunk why the idea that pressure makes me better is not true. Alrighty, friend, that is all for today's episode of the Aligned Powerhouse podcast. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And do me a favor, if this episode resonated, I want you to share it with another powerhouse woman in your life who is ready to lead and love from a place of self-trust. And don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a quick rating or review. It really does help more women find this work. New episodes drop every week. Until then, lead with self-trust and let yourself be seen.